If you see my first video on the new GoPro Hero 7, then you know that I was pretty disappointed and upset at GoPro for announcing this product that didn't do what they said it could. But then I started tweaking with things and I think I might have changed my mind. Hey guys, Josh here with Daily Mountain Bike Rider, and today I'm going to talk a little further about the GoPro Hero 7. Now, if you watched my last video, I talked about how I was using this camera to replace my current mountain bike setup, which is a GoPro Hero 4 and an Evo SS gimbal. Now, GoPro claimed that this was gimbal-like film, and so what I did is I got my chest mount, which I have right here and would normally attach my gimbal to, and simply put the Hero 7 at the perfect angle in order to see how the stabilization did. What I found was the GoPro did terrible. Basically, I was putting the stabilization in one of the hardest tests that you can put a GoPro in, because there's so much movement and small bumps and it's dark areas that you film in, and the Hero 7 filmed about as good as I thought it would, which was terrible. So I posted that video, and I had a bunch of people respond to me, and one person in particular is another mountain bike YouTuber called McTrailRider. And he told me about his setup that he uses. And he said that he took his Hero 6, he mounts it under his chin bar on his full face helmet, and his head acts as a gimbal and it creates gimbal-like footage, and encouraged me to give it a try. So along with a couple of settings tweaks for audio and for video, I grabbed my full face helmet, grabbed a bunch of my GoPro adapters, and this is what I came up with. Basically, I took a bunch of the GoPro extension connectors, zip tied them to the front of the helmet, and allowed the camera to sit down under my chin a bit and once again be in the perfect gimbal angle. And while I was a little skeptical because my footage turned out so terribly the first time, I had to give this thing a try. So I set it up, got my angle right, and here's the exact same places I filmed the first time, but with this new setup instead of the GoPro connected to my chest.
All right, dropping into cedar dust. This did the worst in my first test. And a lot of you said it was because of the low lighting, which is, trail is very canopied by trees. But the truth is, if a camera can't work in low lighting for me, it's not gonna be a camera for me. Time to focus on some skinnies. I do the skinny every time I come out here. Every time it's a challenge. I love it.
And of course, the best place to use this would be out in the open on the jump line that I did the first time. So let's look at this.
Let's do this jump line again. Last time I cased a couple jumps, so we're gonna try not to do that. And also, I have a home-built wind muffler right now. It's an old wool sock, so I'm really curious how that's gonna work. Oh, come on. Boost. I cleared it. And that one too. Overshot that one. Oh gosh. Woo!
So I came home after trying this out, checked out the footage, and I am downright impressed. Now, listen to me. I take back nothing I said in my original video, because using the GoPro and the normal chest mount setup that I would use, that GoPro has used for a long time, just doesn't look good. But with some tweaking, figuring out the exact settings, adjusting everything on the GoPro so it is not in full auto, and making my own rig, now the thing looks phenomenal. So a couple of takeaways I had. Number one, I really like how at this point of view, you still get gimbal-like quality. If you look at any of my gimbal footage, there still is adjustments and shakiness a tiny bit, but the video still stays extremely smooth and centered, and you always have a perfect shot of enough ground and air and the trail in front of you. Now, the second thing I really liked about this setup is when I turn into corners, when my body is actually getting sideways, this setup allows the GoPro to show the sideways effect. When I have a gimbal on, it keeps it even, and a lot of times my gimbal will actually get behind in a corner so you can't see where I'm going because the gimbal motors have to catch up to where I'm going. This eliminates that from happening and really gives an angle of what the trail looks like. And the third thing I really liked, and I'm going to show this in a couple videos coming up, is this setup allows me to show the steepness of a mountain bike trail. The most difficult thing is to show a viewer how steep or how rugged or how big an obstacle is, and I think this setup is going to help me showcase that a lot more. Not only that, but in between takes or in between riding on a trail, when I turn and look at somebody or I'm talking to people, you're going to see what I see. So my overall viewpoint is, I think the GoPro Hero 7 has a ton of potential. And instead of returning this thing, I'm going to do a couple more tests and you'll probably see some riding footage coming out. And I'm not going to tell you off the bat if I'm using the Hero 7, but I want to see if you can notice. Anyway, so that's just my recap and my updated review of the GoPro Hero 7. I'm very curious to see if this could be the rig I start using full time. If you like this video, click the like button. Also, make sure you click subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the videos I post with the Hero 7 and everything else I post about mountain biking. You know what time it is. Don't spend too much time watching guys talk about GoPros in their garage, but get out there and ride your bike. Make sure you do it every day.